on 13 August 1969 into the family of Professor Simeon Sunday Arowomole and Rachel Abosede Arowomole of Afin Compound. She started her educational journey at Ojero Baptist Primary School in Lagos between 1973 and 1979. She had her secondary education as a new secondary school between 1979 and 1984. She attended Lagos State University of Lagos, where she bagged a BSc degree in Fisheries Management in 1992. She did a mandatory National Youth Service Program (NYSC) in 1994 at the Federal Department of Fisheries, Wuzle Zone 3 in Abuja. Professor Jenyo-Oni bagged an MSc degree in Fisheries Management in 1996 and PhD in Fisheries Management, both from the University of Ibadan, with focus on coastal wetland biodiversity management in the year 2000. Professor Jenyo-Oni joined the services of the University of Ibadan in the then Department of Wildlife and Fisheries Management, now Department of Aquaculture and Fisheries Management, University of Ibadan, on 14 May 2001 as lecturer grade 2. He was promoted lecturer grade 1 in October 2004, senior lecturer 2007, reader 2010, and professor 1 October 2014.
Nigeria has a large endowment of water resources, which range from freshwater, brackish, and marine water resources. The aquatic ecosystem of the nation are diverse and play a crucial role in the country's biodiversity, economy, the livelihood of its people. With total water resources estimated at 215 billion meter cube of surface water and 87 billion meter cube of groundwater resources, the country is well endowed, though the resources are not equally distributed. The coastal and marine environment of Nigeria extends for about 853 kilometers along the coastline and inland for about 15 kilometers in Lagos. Nigeria has over 12.5 million hectares of freshwater, which could yield approximately 510,000 tons of fish. These waters also harbor many freshwater dependent vertebrates, some of which depend on fish as their main sources of food. There are over 200 species of fish in Nigerian inland waters, 14 species of reptiles, 7 species of mammals, 59 species of amphibians, and 72 species of water-associated birds. In terms of the total number of vertebrate species associated with inland waters, fish contribute 57%. Mr. Vice Chancellor, Nigeria is a country which declares both coastal and inland wetlands, which altogether cover about 3% of the country's surface. Wetlands. Mr. Vice Chancellor, the wetlands of Nigeria are truly remarkable and visually splendid, blessed with a rich texture of biodiversity and essential ecological functions. Jenyo-Oni and Adetola 2007, Iggy and Jenyo-Oni 2011. The term wetlands have been intermittently used by field biologists for close to a century. There is, however, still no consensus on the definition of an area occupied by a wetland. Wetlands cover 6% of the world's land surface and are found everywhere in all climates and countries, from the tundra to the tropics. Yet, few people know what they are. This ignorance is the single major cause of their destruction. Wetlands, according to Renewable 2000, can be defined as an area covered permanently, occasionally, or periodically by fresh or salt water up to a depth of 6 meters. Although various classifications of wetlands exist, a useful approach is one provided by the Ramsar Convention on Wetland. It divides wetlands into 3 main categories of habitat: the marine to coastal wetlands, inland wetlands, and man-made wetlands. The wetlands with their most watery landscape holds a wealth of natural beauty and ecological significance and a sanctuary of countless species. Renewable 2000. Communities living near wetlands are warming their lives around these water ranges. Fishing boats glide silently, children play along the banks. This complex ecosystem emerges from delicate lines of flooding or soil saturation, creating environment that pulse with life. Nigeria is uniquely blessed with freshwater wetlands and coastal saline wetlands, with many important wetland belts, the majority of which are found in the Niger, Benue, and Chad basins, and wetland represent 2.6% of the country's areas of about 933,768 kilometers square. The Niger Delta is one of the most important wetlands in Nigeria, the largest in Africa, the third largest in the world. Others are found in the axis of Sokoto River, Mandugu Yobe, Lake Chad, Upper Niger, and Kanji Lake, the Middle Niger, Lokoja, Jeba, Loa, Kaduna. There are different wetlands in the world, and Nigeria owns some of the internationally recognized, but only 11 wetland sites are recognized as Ramsar sites in Nigeria, Chile and Ibadan 2009. The Niger Delta, despite its size and richness in biodiversity, is yet to be included or gazetted as a Ramsar site, as shown in Table 1. This could be because, according to Ramsar 1971, a wetland should be considered internationally important. 1. If it contains a representative rare or unique example of a natural or near-natural wetland type found within the appropriate geographic region. 2. If it supports vulnerable, endangered, critical, endangered species or threatened ecological communities. 3. If it supports population of plants and or animal species important for maintaining the biological diversity of a particular biogeographic region. And the last one, if it supports plants and or animal species at a critical stage in their life cycle or provides refuge during adverse conditions. You and I both know that the Niger Delta is far from being able to meet any of these criteria because of the destruction of the environment as a result of oil and gas exploration and exploitation. We have the picture of plants in the wetland, the trees and clouds being mirrored. We have wetland growing the dry season. We have the other tables and figures. Importance of Nigerian wetlands. Wetlands provide various ecosystem services such as water treatment and purification. Wetland plants take up excess nutrients and convert them into less harmful forms over time. The nutrients are recycled within the wetlands. Wetlands also serve as buffer zones and provide important resources for humans and animals. Jenyo-Oni and Adetola 2003, Adetola 2009, observed that among fishing communities located along the wetlands in Nigeria, fish and non-fish aquatic vertebrates of all sizes and types and management are the main sources of animal protein. I give all thanks and glory to the Lord for his faithfulness. As he has faithfully guided me along the best path of life, he has always been my help and a pillar of support and counsel at all stages of my life. I'm grateful to my father and mother, late Professor Simon Sunday Asharomole, and Mrs. Rachel Abose Daromole, my world best siblings and their spouses, Mr. and Mrs. Paula Romole, Mr. and Mrs. Gadko Ajo, Mr. Obeya Aromole, Mr. and Mrs. Adetola, Dr. and Mrs. Olagoke Aromole, Dr. and Dr. F.E. Osho, and Mr. and Mrs. Kulepeleowo, for those wonderful times we have together and your unwavering support at all times. Ẹ̀yin lè ìgbà tí Ọlọ́run lò fún mi tí ò jẹ́ ká jọ púpọ̀ lọ́rùn yìí. I sincerely appreciate the love and care of my parents-in-law, late Pa James Jenyo-Oni, who passed on to glory on the 18th of March 2024, and Mrs. Lucia Adeyinka-Oni, and all Oni Olówó Lágbàdo Dynasty of Orí. To my teachers at primary school, Jeremiah School, Epitome Lagos Secondary School, St. Louis Secondary School, Federal Government College, Renewable State. Thank you. I'm also grateful to my teachers and mentors in and outside Lagos State University and the University of Ibadan. I wish to express my gratitude to my colleagues in the faculty and department under the able leadership of Professors Adetola Jenyo-Oni and Flora Olaifa, respectively. Special thanks goes to the non-academic staff in the faculty and the department. I also thank my classmates of St. Louis Secondary School, 1984 set, and the Federal Government College, Renewable State, 1967. I acknowledge the brothers of love, friendship, and of the following individuals in my life: Dr. Oke Kari, Achiboye, Orisha Shoni, Nurudin, and Larry, my academic mentor and father, Professor I.A. Ayodele. I wish to thank you for the wonderful roles you have played in my life, most especially for accepting to be my PhD supervisor and for facilitating my appointment to the university. My gratitude also goes to Professor E.O. Fatuwoti for his guidance and for always providing positive leadership for us in the department. Professor A. Falai, I thank you for your love and the amazing support you provided for me and the department. I'm also grateful for Professor B.O. Omutoyi, my son, for his academic mentorship. I am grateful to Ike Ajani for not only providing academic mentorship, but for being a friend, a brother, and a confidant to me and my family. I've met with former Vice Chancellor, former Minister of Health, Professor I.F. Adetola, and former Vice Chancellor, Professor Ebele Olayinka, for their support to me and my department, and for their visionary leadership in identifying the potential in agriculture, education, and enterprise. I'm equally grateful to the current Vice Chancellor, Professor Kayode Oyebode Adebowale, for his love, support, and encouragement to me and my department over the years. I'm deeply grateful to all members of the university management. I sincerely appreciate the spiritual mentorship and prayers and encouragement of my bishops, pastors, and their wives in Christ-like Church under the leadership of Professor Bishop Francis Wale and Reverend B.T. Oke. I appreciate the efforts of the members of the Inaugural Committee for their commitment and show of love in ensuring the success of this lecture and different organizations and institutions for grants and scholarships that have benefited from. I greatly appreciate the support of my research partners and collaborators outside and within Nigeria. My deep gratitude goes to the members of my research team, especially my doctoral research team, my immediate family. I want to thank you for all you for providing the peace and love and passion that keep me going in the pursuit of my career. To the members of the Renewable and the Wetland dynasty in the pages. Mr. and Mrs. Clement to me and Mr. and Mrs. Maxwell from the West, thank you for your love and support over the years. I appreciate the love and endurance and the side of my children, Adetola Jenyo-Oni, the promise of God's goodness in my life, for being my friend and confidant. The twins, flora, Taiwo, and Olamuwa, they came to the trend of my old age, signs of the unfailing word and promise of God. Thank you for the love and devotion for keeping me in my faith. Lastly, my husband, my friend, Jenyo-Oni, who is always indulging me and excusing my shortcomings, encouraging, supporting, and urging me forward in my goals and aspirations. Thanks for being there. Love you. As I end this lecture, let me leave us with the word of Martin 66, that civilization began around wetlands. Today's civilization has good reason to leave them with wet and white. Now to the eternal God, the Almighty, the God, the Father of my Lord Jesus Christ, with glory now and forever.
In order to achieve food security in Nigeria, there is no doubt that we need to, play more emphasis on research in these renewable natural resources. And fish is one of those areas that we need to focus on. The challenge that we have with fish is in terms of the feed. The feed is very expensive. That's why so many people are running away, from aquaculture and fisheries management. So if there is a way, that all the raw materials for the production of the feed, if they are made available, I'm sure that feed will be abundant in very large quantities. And that
fish is very nutritious and it is better than beef and meat that we take.
When I started my work as an undergraduate, I went to the high school. And I discovered that along the continental shelf, you will fish all night because we fish 3 hours and then we bring on the gears. In some places, you will have so massive catch that you will still be sorting when the next set will come in. Then in other places, you will have catches that within 30 minutes you are sorted through. And in some places, almost nothing. So I started wondering, what is responsible? So when I came to University of Ibadan for my master's, I shared my idea with Professor Ayodele. He was Dr. Ayodele then. And he said, he has someone who has worked along the coastal area, Dr. Yemi Akegbejo, who was doing a contract job with the department at the time. So he assigned me to him. He was the one that introduced me to wetland studies. And in the course of that, I've not had any reason to regret it. If Nigeria waterways are well taken care of, especially the wetlands, you would like to tell you that 3/4 of the world fish is actually hatched in the wetlands. So you can imagine, if you take care of who gets pregnant and birth people, then you have abundance. So if the wetlands are taken care of, we'll have abundance. Now, if Nigeria waterways and the wetlands are taken care of, Nigeria will be more than self-sufficient in fish of the demand that we're talking about now. When we talk about meeting our fish demand, the supply will far exceed it. And if the demand far exceeds the demand, then we will have excess, and then the GDP will also rise. Now, of course, it will be not very factual of me to say I want to put a figure. I want to say it will increase what we are currently, contributing to the GDP, and we can become exports of fishing products.
Inú mi dùn, ṣùgbọ́n pé dáàdì ẹ ti kú yẹ kò jẹ́ kí inú yẹ dùn délẹ̀. Kò sí nǹkan míì. Inú mi dùn sí pé ó jẹ́ lójú ẹ̀mí mi. Èmi gan mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run tí ó jẹ́ pé mi ò ti dẹni àná. Èṣù gbógun ṣùgbọ́n Ọlọ́run bá mi ṣe ogun yẹn lágbára Ọlọ́run. Bó ṣe lójú ẹ̀mí mi, àwọn ọmọ ìtì ẹ̀ náà á tún ṣe tiwọn lójú ẹ̀mí ẹ̀. Láìsí ikú, láìsí nǹkan kan. Mo ń gbàdúrà léyìí tó kù tí màá lò láyé kí n má mú ibojì ọmọ mi kankan mọ́ lágbára Ọlọ́run.
Adetola Jenyo-Oni is an erudite scholar in the area of aquaculture and wetland management. And this afternoon she has told us so much about the splendor, the aquatic splendor that we have in the wetlands, and why it is important for us to make sure that we conserve our wetlands, because our wetlands have various purposes in which they serve in the environment, which are very important to human health. So if we refuse to conserve our wetlands, then we will suffer the repercussion for it. Wetlands absorb waste. The plants in the wetlands purify the atmosphere, giving us the necessary oxygen and taking up the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So if unfortunately we refuse to conserve these wetlands, then we are denying ourselves of those benefits that comes from the wetlands. And all those things are those things that Professor Adetola Jenyo-Oni has expressed in our inaugural lecture for all of us to learn and make sure, as government, as individuals, wherever we are, we make sure that we put our voice, raise our voice, lift up our voice, and make sure that we try our own best to make sure that our wetlands are conserved.
It's one of those lectures that really opened my eyes, especially about the misuse of wetland resources in Nigeria. The way we have been, he also clearly listed the advantages of the wetland, what it can do for us ecologically, what the kind of wet we can get from the wetland, and how massive our wetland is. Today we even learned that the Niger Delta wetland area is the largest in Africa and the third largest in the world. But the eye-opening thing that we need to sit down and discuss is the way we are disrupting our wetland, the kind of destruction going on in the wetland area. And we couldn't believe, as a scholar, he actually captured that 90% of the wetland in Lagos State has been lost. And the repercussion of that. And at the end of the day, the inaugural lecturer came not only criticizing what is going on, also offer a solution to our recommendation that the wetland area, we need to have a national wetland policy which will be in place that will define and clearly listed how we manage our wetland. If you have that kind of policy, what is going on in Oyo State, where the government is trying to convert a wetland area, a very important wetland area, to what we call it, to housing estate. If you have that policy, people will be able to tackle that governor using that wetland policy or law or regulation that guide the way we handle our wetland. And when we manage it, the issue of flooding, and houses being disrupted and all sorts of things like that, because people are encroaching on wetlands, it will not occur again in Nigeria.
It was a bombshell, and you see, when you look at current abuses going around, particularly the wetland area, the inaugural lecturer was able to point out what is happening down the premier, and we also what is happening with the way the wetland is being abused. That is telling you that this is not healthy for the environment. Then she mentioned the LLA, which is very, very important to Ibadan community. That one is also being abused. So it's very, very important that we should be very, very cautious, that we should be very careful and take care of our wetland so that the maximum profit from wetland can be given to us. This is a gift of nature, and we must go ahead to preserve nature so that we can have the best benefit from the natural sector.
Our lecture is just giving us what she's professing. She's a professor, so she's letting the world know what actually she's professing, what she stands for, and what she's fighting for. And I'm a student. I'm not just a student. I'm like an adopted daughter to her. She was my HOD for some time, about 4 years, and she was a wonderful lecturer. Not just a lecturer, but she was a mother figure, not just to me alone, but every one of us during our time in the park. I'm sure that this is not the end of the journey for her. Actually, it's not the end of the road. It's because when you come out in the open, when you come out to the world to tell the world this is what you're doing, they expect more. They expect you to take a step further, to try to implement those things that you're talking about. And I'm sure that Prof cannot do it alone. It's a call to us as a nation, the government, the Ministry of Natural Resources, Environment, for us to look at the critical issues she mentioned about losing our wetlands and the other issues she has spoken about, to look at how they can work together and see how we can bring these things back. Fisheries is a major contributor to food security. And when our wetland, they are lost and they contribute their own quota, so it means that the per capita protein intake per family would definitely be affected. So the government and the institution, the department as a whole, and other stakeholders have to look together in collaboration with Prof and see how they can help the way forward, the next thing to do, in ensuring that we revive our wetland, and then we'll see how we'll go from there.